Hey there, welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. As always, I'm Shanae Howard, and with me is Ryan Robinson
Hello.
and Tommy Shelby.
Hello.
So, guys, it has been a minute. What are the best games you've been playing?
The best games I've been playing are I played about maybe 2 or 3 hours of Hi-Fi Rush. Uh, and it's the most interesting thing that Microsoft has come up with in quite some time, in my opinion, right? Like it's the type of game that I would like to see more of from them. And it's sad that it's one of the studios that they acquired that was so this game was probably in development before Microsoft had their hand in it, But it's a good game. I don't think it's as great as people are making it out to be, but I do think it is very fun. It's a rhythm action game. People are comparing it to games like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It's nowhere near that level. The combat's fun though.
Is it the same type though?
I mean, it's funny, right? Because it's rhythm game combat. So, like, any attack you do, regardless of when you push the button, is going to hit on the beat.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So that's not the same as, like, a Bayonetta or a Devil May Cry. I would argue that those games are already rhythm-based, right? Because it's all about, like, hit, pause, hit, pause, hit, right? Or, like, hold and hit. It's... Yeah. Those games already operate in that way. They have since the fucking PlayStation 2. Here, it's just if your timing is on beat, you're more effective.
Right.
That said, if you're bad at rhythm games, you can play this and have no problem. It's very linear. It's very easy, but it's very, very fun. I like the characters a lot. It's very reminiscent of a Saturday morning cartoon, and what it really has me thinking about. Immediately, it reminded me of Forspoken in the writing, right? And it's funny because so many people had complaints about Forspoken, that game's writing anyway. But it's such a funny thing, right? Like, if you think about Forspoken and that game's development, right? Mm-hmm. It's a Japanese-developed game that was originally being written by an American woman, but then she dropped off, right? Amy Hennig dropped off of that game. And then it was written by American men. So it's a Japanese isekai story about a black woman written by white American men.
Yep.
And even though it's a Japanese RPG, it's made to look like a Western RPG.
It sure does.
And I think that's why the writing doesn't fit, because it fits so well in Hi-Fi Rush, because Hi-Fi Rush feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, right. And that's what that writing sounds like.
Right.
So
it sounds like the main criticism here with that is that, like, the writing is the writing, but it's kind of out of place for, like, what it's doing. Whereas with Hi-Fi Rush, like, very much it seems to fit.
Yeah, and I can imagine the writing for Forspoken fitting if that game looked like Final Fantasy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
that's an isekai story. That's what that game is, But yeah. Anyways, Hi-Fi Rush. It's fun. It's colorful. It's the best thing, in my opinion, Microsoft has done in years as far as software goes. And then I've been playing a good bit of the Dead Space remake, which was not a game that I thought I wanted.
But it's the game you needed, right?
Well, I'm like, I did not think that Dead Space needed a remake. I still don't think it needed a remake.
Sure.
That being said, it's very, very good. I think if you're only going to play one, you need to decide what's more important to you, presentation and story or gameplay, because I do think the gameplay of the original is better.
Right.
It's more challenging, and Dead Space is a game that already was not very challenging,
Yeah.
They've only made it easier. So, like, you can now go back to previous areas. The whole ship's unlocked, right? Like, it's all one space now. So you can now go back to any previous area.
All the space is dead.
Right. And
Sure.
you're encouraged to because they've put in like this security level system that unlocks certain doors and lockers and things like that, which I actually really like. But in doing that, like you go back and you just get more equipment and you're just more stocked up than you typically would be.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
the upgrade system used to include like blank spots that were needed to be filled in order to get to upgrades.
Yeah.
Now it's every single node just automatically gives you something, and there are more node spaces than there used to be, so you can upgrade these weapons far more than you could in the original game.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier.
No more dead
You
space
know,
between those nodes.
yeah, the full 360-degree movement in the 0G sections makes certain puzzles way easier than they used to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Because before it was like you would ping a spot and Isaac would float there.
right.
Yeah.
And they've adjusted some of the puzzles to accommodate that, but some of the puzzles are the same.
Yeah.
Right, and the ones that are the same are now much easier because of that movement.
Right.
They're like most old like fans of old Dead Space know that there was like an infinite ammo exploit, not a glitch. People keep calling it a glitch. It's an exploit.
Sure.
They've left that in here,
Yeah.
and I don't think they've left it in intentionally. But like, it still works, and it's actually easier and more lucrative than it used to be. You know, so like, all the ammo you want, all the power nodes you want, all the health you want.
I love it.
You know, it's just very, very easy. But
So it's
that said, like,
mode.
it is. But like,
Shanae
the
Howard
story,
approved.
like the
Yeah.
storytelling is
It's
much, much
one
better.
Yeah.
It ties to the other games. It just ties to all the other fiction better, whether that's Extraction or the other games or the fucking novels. It ties to all that stuff way better. You know, obviously it looks better.
Yeah. Sure.
So you know, I think there's pros and cons to both. But overall, I'm liking it a lot.
So I've put in about 4 hours into that game so far, I think.
The remake?
Yeah. And like I haven't played through the first game in about since like 2009, I think. And,
Didn't we play it together?
huh?
I thought we did a let's play of it together.
We did like a we did like a little brief let's play of it. I think we did like the first section of it.
Okay.
But so we never got to like any like the 0G spots or any G spots. We never got to any of that part.
Never got to that G spot.
But we played through the
I
intro.
still haven't.
Well, the G spot is a myth invented by Big Orgasm, so it's not real.
Sure.
But like, yeah, the game is like so far from what I'm playing, the game feels really good as far as like combat is concerned. And I'm appreciating though like more the little touches that they've added because now that Isaac is fully voiced in this game, he has like little vocalizations and stuff like in like there was a moment where I was fighting a necromorph and I was certain that I had ammo in reserve, and then when I didn't and I pulled the trigger, Isaac was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like, "That's pretty cool. That's immersive." But like it's funny is that like also unlike the original game, like we're seeing Isaac's face from the get-go this time. And I remember just like the other day, Kaylee was like,
you can see his face in the very beginning of the original game.
I remember it was just the back of his head.
No, you can see his face. You have to turn the camera, but like you can do it. Promise.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying I don't believe you, Tommy. I'm sure that's true. But I remember Kayla was like, he looks like
Thomas off. Don't tell him he's wrong.
She was like, he looks like just like a guy, like a regular guy. I was like, well, that's what's cool about him. He's just like a regular guy. Because he's not like your standard like action hero, right? He's just like some engineer who got put in a fucked up situation, and so that's one of the things I've always liked about him. But overall, I think that the game is pretty cool. I think that I don't remember the original enough to like really compare the two, but as a fan of all three games, I'm having a really good time.
Nice. I'm glad.
You know? Don't forget to use your stasis because if you have real slow reflexes like me, because I have real slow reflexes and those guys grab me every time. So you gotta zap them with the slow goop.
That slow goop.
Mm-hmm.
What else have you been playing?
What else you got?
What else you got?
What is that from?
The
Oh,
Office.
The Office. That's right. I've also been. I feel like I'm nearing the end of my playthrough of A Plague Tale: Innocence. So I was telling Tom after we recorded last time that we're doing this thing where we're beating a game for every letter of the alphabet, and my A game is A Plague Tale:
Yeah.
Innocence. And
And we were like about like participles.
Oh yeah,
being, like,
that's right.
counted.
Yeah, it should have been like Azura's Wrath or something, you know?
Yeah.
Well, this is just based on like PlayStation Citizen A game. So
home rules.
Alien hominid.
It's like
Sure.
it's like Uno. You got your own house rules on how you want to do that challenge.
Yeah.
That game is really good.
Alien hominid?
Not really, but
Oh.
A Plague Tale: Innocence is it's really good. I'm really enjoying. Like I'm liking it like way more than I expected to.
Like using that sling.
Yes. But it's like there are these moments where like because there's what they call set piece moments, and there's some like during those moments sometimes like they'll have like enemies rushing you, and like I forget what I'm doing, and then I finally get to the point where I'm like swinging the sling around, and then a guy like runs up on me and stabs me in the fucking chest. But yeah, that game is really good. Like the story is really well written, and I care so much about that little boy Hugo. I don't want anything to happen to him. I care. He's so important to me.
It's so funny, like the difference is like I tried playing the game. I think I played maybe an hour or two of it, maybe a little more, and I'm just like, it reminds me so much of Revelations 2, the little girl with the finger pointing, you know?
Yeah, but I think like that that was not a fun afternoon where we were taking turns being the one who holds the gun.
Yeah.
But like I think this is like I think this is like a little different because like there's like a more of a connection there.
And someone's not having to be the little boy.
Yeah, because I think if I think it would have kind of ruined it if like one person had to be Hugo, and it was like, well, he doesn't really get to do nothing. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm really liking the game, and I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna finish it in the next day or so. But
nice.
Yeah, great. It's a great game so far. Those rats off to you. Real scary. Real scary. Those rats.
So my friend Sean came over, and we played a bit of Stray, and I feel like we got pretty far in that game. Like I based off like what it seems like we're trying to do, like I don't.
What part are you at?
What part are you, Cat?
So we got all the journals for the robot with his friends, and he's like, I'm so sorry I doubted the outside. And I got to the next section and did a little just like catting around.
Yeah.
But
don't say that. Don't say catting around. Don't say that.
But it's really nice.
Yeah, fun with
I
it.
can already kind of tell like where the story's kind of going, or I have a couple guesses. And I can see why people who normally don't play those kind of games like would really, really enjoy it and like hype it up. So I see why it's like won awards.
I feel a butt coming.
Oh no. Okay. Like I haven't finished it, so I can't like say for sure, but well there we go. But like overall, like it's enjoyable. Like I'm not seeing anything that's like besides how pretty it is, like why I've seen a lot of hype about it, and like, a lot of people are like, oh, you should play Stray. You could play Stray. I don't know, but another game I've been playing. Oh, actually no. First I want to talk. So I've been like basically hogging the PS5. Berto really hasn't wanted to play anything. He's been like stuck on Cyberpunk and playing online games with friends on his PC.
Mm-hmm.
But we were hanging out, and I just put up on the home screen over to where I had the Spider-Man 2018 game downloaded, and I just put the controller by him and let the home music lure him into playing it. And
Sure.
it worked. So I've been
Yeah.
watching him play Spider-Man, and it's super fun, and I'm
Great
glad
game.
I'm not playing it because that does not look like something that I would be good at.
That game is way more intuitive than you might expect. So you should try it.
It might
Yeah.
seem more intimidating because Berto always plays everything on the hardest difficulty possible.
Yeah. It's also smaller than it looks.
Yeah. And also, you can't fall to your death in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I noticed.
Like, it won't take Berto long to do everything that you can do in that game, you know?
Well, I also have the Miles Morales game downloaded and ready for him
Yeah.
to do next.
That one's good too.
Yeah.
So it's really nice that because he hasn't played a console game since.
Well, Spider-Man's on Steam
Standing?
now, you know?
Yeah.
He can do that.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like in the household. I mean, like he plays whenever people come over, like Super Smash Brothers, but he hasn't played anything on the Switch. Like,
Yeah.
I think the last game he played was Death Stranding on the PS4.
Yeah.
I saw someone playing Spider-Man on PC, and they modded it so that Spider-Man was replaced by the mask.
I thought you were going to say by Norman Reedus.
I thought I was gonna say Thomas the Tank because that's what
Sure.
all the modders put in every game.
Yeah, but it was the mask,
Oh,
the Jim Carrey.
Speaking of
mask.
PC versus console, I had a quick question for you guys. Maybe you guys can answer this for me. So I'm looking at Dead Space. I'm like, I kind of want to play it on the couch, so I'll buy it on the PlayStation, right?
Uh-huh.
Buy it on PlayStation, $70.
Yeah.
Later that night, I'm looking on Steam,
Mm-hmm.
and it's $60 on
Yeah.
Steam. Why is it $10 cheaper on PC versus console?
That is a fantastic question. I would love to know the answer to that as well.
Yeah.
Well, like, because I also was there was a point, I don't remember exactly when, but there was a point where games on console were 60 and that same game was always 50 on computer. So I don't know, like,
Yeah,
what that's about.
I don't get it. And I know it's a publisher thing, you know, but
Yeah.
like, it seems weird to me, right? Like, I get if there was like a last gen version or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But like PC, arguably, I can run it better on my PC than I can on my PlayStation.
Right.
So
I'm not sure.
what
why.
gives?
I think when you know people will pay the price, that's how much you'll charge.
So you think console gamers are willing to pay more?
Well, it's 'cause, like, everything else is $70, so they're like, all right, shit, like I'll get this for $70 too.
Yeah, I guess it's just like,
But everything else isn't $70 though.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I think that. So, I also do think that, like, especially as far as console exclusives are concerned, people will pay a premium for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of people who are still very much tied up in console ownership as a personality trait. So
Is Dead Space a console exclusive?
no, it's not. But
Okay.
I think like a lot of, like, especially like, well, when we're talking about like console exclusives versus their PC counterparts,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen like a wider disparity there. But
Yeah.
as far as Dead Space is concerned, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird, and I was like, "Man, I got fucking ripped off $10." Because if I had realized it was $10 cheaper, I would have just played it on Steam. You know?
Yeah. I'm actually
It's
gonna.
a $10 couch fee.
But Tom,
What?
can't you just play it on your Steam Deck on your sofa?
I can, but like the resolution will be way lower.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. I don't know, bud. It is maybe it's that couch tax that Sinead was talking about. I don't know. But I'm actually going to get the answer to that because now I'm kind of getting a little miffed thinking about it.
Sure. Call EA.
Yeah, sure.
Who you do not want to be on the phone with.
Yeah, sure.
And
oh yeah, you have a personal history with that. So
yeah.
Trying to get your fucking Garden Warfare cards or something.
The game
Um,
I'm playing the most of though is it's on a lot of consoles. Like I know it's on Switch and I'm pretty sure it's on PC. But I've been playing Spiritfarer
oh,
PS5
fantastic game.
a lot.
Fantastic game.
Um like to the point where I've been going to the subreddit and like people have been like, "Oh, I had this bug." And I'm like, "Oh, this is how you fix it." Cuz I've had to restart it twice
All
already.
right, here we go. The expert.
Yeah, the hacker
Yeah,
man
I'm
over
just
here.
like,
Now she's going to beat it 50 different times in 50
Okay.
different
"Oh
ways.
no,
Write a
no.
few guides.
No, there's not that many. It's honestly only worth playing through like twice if you're trying to like get all the achievements and do everything.
Yeah.
Because there's only like two choices that like change anything.
So,
What is this game today? I've heard of it. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
tell
So
tell
it's
him, Shanae,
actually
it's so good.
ties into what?
Tell him it's so good. So good.
It's good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
It'd be so good to you. Uh so it's a cozy game that deals with the afterlife. As the title would make you think, you are the Spiritfarer. Like in
I
the
know what game you're
beginning,
talking about. Yeah.
like the intro, like you're on a boat and you run into Charon, which is like the previous Spiritfarer, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm done. You're next. Like, have funsies." And you
Oh,
go around collecting spirits, doing tasks, and getting to know them. And as you get to know them, they eventually hit a point where they're like, "Hey, you can take me to what they call the Everdoor, which is like the true afterlife, instead of this like spirit limbo land that you're like putting them around on." And yeah, it's just like there's some like really touching parts. It's been fun going on the subreddit and seeing what other people find were like really emotionally devastating. Cause like I'll be like, "Oh, well, personally, I didn't give a shit about that character, but the
yeah.
snake lady I bawled at. I was crying up a storm." And I don't know, I have a lot of death anxiety. Like normally when I think about death, I can spiral about it pretty quickly, but that game is I don't know, it's just it feels so bittersweet and nostalgic as I play it that it's not like triggering that, and it's just kind of cathartic. And
I think it does a really good job of framing death as not something to necessarily be afraid of.
I don't think it's that. I think it's because it doesn't feel necessarily permanent, and that's what triggers it, is just that, like, I'll never again, like, talk to you guys or, like, smile or see what happens in the world, and, like, it's
That is
very
true.
selfish.
Yeah.
It's a very selfish anxiety.
Actually, Tom and I have been dabbling in necromancy, so you might get to talk to us again after your game. We'll see.
Yeah, a red
I already
chicken.
I already
Yeah.
told you what I would love for my death plan to be, which would be to be reanimated with the combined ashes of Luna, so we could be a
Yeah.
Cerberus.
You're a fucking creep,
Uh,
dude.
A necromorph.
Yeah, you're such a creep. Don't say that in public again.
It's okay, it's recorded and it'll
I
go on the
imagine you
internet.
look like that dog from The Thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what's gonna happen to you with all those fucking tendrils whipping around.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just gonna be my, like, noodle arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. That actually made me a little nauseous thinking about that. So to answer your question from earlier, Tom, it is largely due to the costs associated with publishing and developing games on console versus releasing them on PC.
Yeah, but like here's the thing, right? Most other publishers give you the same price. You would think EA of all publishers would be able to do the
No.
same.
Well, it's not
Be
a matter.
able to, yes.
You know.
Want
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
no.
right, exactly. Because I think that some publishers are like, we'll pass that cost along to the consumer, whereas
Yeah.
others just won't do that. But
PC to play, so they'll definitely pay that $70.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
check your privilege,
Who are you saying that to?
Thomas, about having multiple options to play video games.
I mean, you have those too.
Oh yeah, but I'm not bitching about prices. So
He's not bitching. He's just saying that corporations shouldn't charge us so much for the same product.
I've said forever I think games should be more expensive, and I do
Yeah.
believe that. But like at the same time, like I feel like I got ripped off, you know?
The price could be consistent across the board, is what Thomas is saying.
Yeah.
So you're gonna call up EA and complain and ask for that $10 back?
I might.
He's gotten his money back from them before, so
And I'll do it again.
yeah, don't count him out just yet. He can do it. Tom can be very persuasive when he wants his money back. So
But yeah, since I've been playing so much Spiritfarer, though, it has made me start thinking about like just why. Well, it first started off thinking about like why isn't this like triggering more anxiety in me? And then also just about more of the cozy games that I have played and what I think that they like why they've given me like a place of comfort when I'm like stressed out about other things. And then just also like what makes a good cozy game. Cause like um I feel like Stardew Valley can be considered a cozy game. And I never really vibe with that. Like I don't think it's bad. I just like never got into it.
See, and
And even
I feel like Stardew is the opposite for me, right? For me, Stardew is high anxiety
sure. Yeah.
because like any any kind of game like Persona, right? Where it's like, how can you optimize the time you have in a day?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that shit always will. I mean, I definitely don't feel comfort playing Stardew Valley. I think it's very good, as with Persona as well, right? But like, yeah, not for me. For me, it's got to be something where it's like you just go at your own pace.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Grim Fandango,
There we go.
Day of the Tentacle. You know, like point and click adventure games.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like point and click is very much just like nice and chill, nice and easy. Nothing's gonna jump out at you and kill you. Well, in most of them, you know, sometimes King's Quest or whatever, but like for the most part, just very chill.
That's interesting because every time I think of King's Quest, I think of the one time I heard Tom tell me that he's been smiling throughout playing a game was when he was talking about King's Quest, and that sounds like a cozy game to me.
King's Quest remake,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think
reimagining.
like nowadays, like most definition is it has to be some sort of like easy collecting or like farming gameplay, and normally it has like personified animals because like obviously one of the biggest one in recent years is Animal Crossing New
Sure.
Horizon,
yeah.
and that one. I mean, I also played it, and so did my sister. Still plays it every now and then, and I'll see some of my Switch friends like also still boot it up every now and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like that I also think, like, just hit at a good time because everybody was stressed out with the pandemic, so it was just, like, perfect.
Stressed out with the pandemic. Doom Eternal didn't scratch the itch I wanted it to at the time. You know.
Yeah, but that itch came back, and then it did scratch it, right?
So yeah, for sure, I could totally.
You were just scratching in the wrong spot. That's all.
Yeah, Animal Crossing. I'll throw Cult of the Lamb in there. Very similar, and like even the dungeony parts of Cult of the Lamb are not difficult. You know.
I think that like when we like, I think when we hear the term cozy game, a lot of the time, even if they aren't games that we play, there are specific types of games that come to mind when people say that. But for me, I think it's always been like more about what kind of headspace a given game puts me in and what level of like comfort from my anxieties that game could bring me. And to that end, like I think that like games like No Man's Sky have very much fit that role for me. Like especially like when I'm having like when I've had like really bad anxiety and not been feeling great, like playing through No Man's Sky and like looking around at some planets, that's really like kind of filled the role that a lot of what people would call cozy games sound like they do for other people.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably like very much at the top of my list there.
See, for me, it's either like low stress stuff,
Yeah,
like, or it's got to be something like you're so good at it that it's just like you're not even really trying when you're playing it. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of the time though, for most people, it's like games with like no predefined goal.
Yeah, like, because I agree with Tommy on the, like, Persona, like, because that has, like, a limited number of days.
Right.
Animal Crossing does not have a limited number of days.
Yeah.
And you don't really need a min-max because it doesn't besides like the changing of the seasons,
Yeah.
Well,
give
see,
you
and
like
I mean,
little
same with
objects.
Stardew, right? Like Stardew doesn't have like a definitive end. There are goals that end at a certain time, right? But you can keep playing the game beyond that. But like, if I'm not optimizing my time, if I could have made X more dollars
Sure.
in these first 3 days
Yeah.
than I did, that bothers me,
Yeah. How would you guys would you guys put Breath of the Wild in there?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
I would, because like nothing in Breath of the Wild is like extremely challenging, you know.
For you.
I think for not just for
For
me.
you.
I think for a lot of people, for the average gamer, I don't think anything in Breath of the Wild is
Well,
like
me and my
super hard.
sister will have some words because some of I forget what the boss battle where he keeps jumping over and you have to use telekinesis and like time freezes on him.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
it's subjective, right? But like, anything in Breath of the Wild that if you're, it's like, it reminds me of Doom Eternal, right? A lot of people talk about Doom Eternal like it's so fucking hard. Well, if a boss keeps killing you, you can go grind for 10 lives and you're fine, Like Breath of the Wild, if you're having trouble with something, like you can go make yourself better and then go back, But like it's very much, it's maybe the most non-linear open world game, right? Like,
because
like GTA is open world, but it's still quite linear, right?
Yeah.
Like it's you
Well,
just kind of like find what you find and
I guess
do what you want to do.
When I think about Breath of the Wild, it's the image in my head is always the space between those boss battles or the space between like those confrontations, like when you're just kind of like roaming around the world, like riding on your horse or like doing whatever. I feel like
Yeah,
a lot of it is like what you're doing between those major events that kind of makes up a bulk of like what someone would find.
yeah, 95% of that game. Yeah,
So I think that's why I asked, because like when I think of Breath of the Wild, I think about when you're like roaming through those like vast spaces where like nothing specific is happening.
yeah. I could see that for sure.
See, I really say it's a cozy game because like there's like metrics you may want to hit or like certain like buffs that you want to give yourself, and I don't really like and stuff like that. Like, so I wouldn't like really see it that way, but I could see like you could play it as a cozy game, but
Sure.
like just not progress in it, and that's something you can do in that game.
Yeah.
But it's hard to
like,
not
like
progress.
not like or
Everything
not
you
like
do in that game is progressing. Like even if you're just gathering materials, you're still progressing. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe it's
agree to disagree.
Maybe it's a difference in how one would chart or define progress.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
yeah, because I'm thinking because like obviously like I don't know. But say agreed to disagree just because like I would say it is more since there's like not necessarily levels, but like also yes levels like two things, and I don't like associate like that kind of those kind of skills and like weapon upgrades as like with most of the what I would consider like if you were to make it a genre.
Yeah,
Because like because when I think cozy games, I think more like I said, Animal Crossing, Spiritfarer, even like stuff like Florence, where it's not necessarily like hard goals. And I guess like that still falls under Legend of Zelda, but I still feel like there is because like maybe it's just because I suck at the boss battles. That's it.
though, right? Like you're talking about cozy games. Like there is a definition of what that means, and I think to different people it means something different.
Yeah.
I have a friend, and all he does is fucking speed run Resident Evil games. And like that's comforting to him, and that's like not difficult for him. Like
Yeah.
I don't see why that can't be his cozy game, you know. But
Yeah, because I think we have like established I think we have like established ideas of what most people would agree are cozy games. But I think that
sure,
if you break it down, like
Harvest Moon or
yeah,
any farming game, right?
yeah,
Like
but I think if you
Kirby.
break it down to like if you get like a more of a like a low level like kind of thinking about it, I think it'll mean different things to different people. Whereas
Yeah,
I don't think like there are games right where that I think a lot of people find relaxing that I would probably not put in that same category for me.
absolutely.
Which is why like I always define cozy games as like what like how does that game make you feel as far as like how much does it relax you or how much does it put you in a place where you can kind of just shut your brain off for a while
Hmm.
and just like feel like you're just vibing, like you're just chilled out. And I think that's
It's
different
more
game for
like
different
a
people.
comforting game than a cozy game because I think a cozy game is similar but I think the game itself focuses on your feelings rather than like what it's making you do.
So what are if we're going that route then how what are the metrics that or what are the points bullet points that a game has to hit before one could define or before you would define it as a cozy game?
I guess just kind of what I said now, just like if it makes me if it seems like the goal of it is more of like trying to evoke a feeling rather than trying to like help you with a skill of some sort.
Mhm.
I feel like that.
Now, does the type of feeling matter in that definition?
I mean, I'd say it has to be on the soft side because I don't want to say like oh only good feelings because like it's like because like some of these games make me sad and like that's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but I don't know. I mean, you're right. It is subjective. I was just saying, like, as far as like what I was thinking in mind is more of like cozy stuff. Is like I said, like Florence. I would consider one because it's supposed to make you feel things.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember that Apple. I had it written down, but I can't find my note for it for the Apple Arcade game that I like that made me feel a lot like Florence did. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's more like trying to tell like a narrative
I th-
rather than help you like get good at like defeating certain bosses.
I think that the difference I think we're experiencing here is that you have a distinction between cozy and like comforting, whereas I don't. Like those two
Hmm.
th-
Right.
those are kind of interchangeable for me. Whereas I think that's a little bit more like those two lanes are like more specific and defined for you. So
Yeah. Well, and even if they aren't right, like, or even if they are right, like, are you telling me there's nobody that like gets comfort from fucking Mortal Kombat? You know, like I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. I just think it's different for everyone.
yeah,
But if we're talking about like a certain type of theme or you know direction or something like that, right?
yeah,
Because you know the games that you're naming, while they aren't, won't say that they all have the same theme, but they have what's the word for it? Genre wouldn't be right, but like you know what I'm
vibe.
saying,
Same
right? Yeah,
similarities.
vibe
Yeah,
exactly.
same
Yeah,
vibe. Yeah,
then that I think that to me that's a different thing, you know. But
Yeah,
uh,
because
you know,
I think Ryan's right. Is in my mind, getting comfort from a game and a cozy game are like
sure.
two vastly different things in my mind.
right?
Yeah,
Because like, because you get comfort out of like doing out of playing Tetris and having or
Yeah,
maybe sometimes it makes you race a little bit. But like also it's a good mind turn off thing. It's something that you've done that's ritualistic, habitual. It's going to like feel good and it'll
yeah,
give you those like hits of dopamine.
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And like I think
You can find
also,
that comforting, but like and you can feel cozy as you do it, but
yeah.
that's not like
Yeah,
yeah.
Um, I think I think the one of the other ones that like I really fall back on is Minecraft. Um,
mm.
because I can definitely like I will 1000% turn on peaceful mode so that no creepers or spiders or zombies or nothing are bothering me. And just like
Okay.
build my house in the middle of nowhere without worrying about some like weird pickle exploding I was building next to my house. Like there's like a definitely like a moment in that game where like because it never starts like that for me, but there's always a moment where as I'm playing the game and like as I'm kind of settling into the loop of what my defined loop of that game is, then I kind of just fall into this mode where I'm just like very chilled out. And I think that like 100% of the time you give me like 15 minutes with like Minecraft, like at like 15 minutes in, I'm always just there vibing, and I'll probably be there for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So
what about like Traveler's Tales, like all the Lego games? I feel like you don't even have to do anything, and even if you die, even if you fuck up, you're back, you're fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. You know.
Yeah.
Find them like comforting or anything like that, just because like
I mean, I feel like they're chill. You know, like I'm never like worried about fighting anything or worried about a hard puzzle or like it's all like it's like Ryan said, it's like brain off.
Yeah.
Well, when you said Traveler's games, I was thinking Telltale games.
Oh, Traveler's Tales, yeah, very similar, stupid names,
very different. My mind, and I was like, other games I can defend. I was like, but the other games, like I get very stressed out with those choices. And then I make a choice and I see like 67% of everybody else made a different one. I'm like, fuck, am I an idiot?
Yeah.
Am I insane?
Am I the drama? But yes, no, Traveler's Tales, yeah, no, I don't know why my brain did that, but
yeah, like all those Lego games, I feel like what are the highest stakes in those games? Like there are none,
So I think that those still, I don't personally find them. I mean, I find them like fun in the like I'm just trying to do something for a dopamine thing. But like also like part of me always and I always forget this until I play a Lego game again. That part of me always like perfectionist hates that I'm gonna have to go back and get all these collectibles, not just like one or two.
That's part of why I can't play those games because like it bugs me. It like
majority of them I can't get until I unlock like 70 different characters.
I feel it on my own.
And I want to feel like I'm actually progressing in this game and not that like I'm just playing it I'm just playing it to be able to replay it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is the progression in those games. The unlockables are the progression in those games, right? Like, you're certainly not there for the story, I mean,
I want to see the Lego version of the Harry Potter games and see them do these cool fun things. I recently heard somebody's perception of Harry Potter who has only played the Lego games and has never read any of the books or watched the movies, and that
was spot on.
Sure, probably
completely different than everything else.
Yeah,
and I love that. I want to see the differences
because they have the distilled, like purest form of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Well, the Harry Potter Lego games, was that before they started voicing them or after?
Yeah, well, that was when they were still mumbling in those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like so a lot of things that are like had conversations or discussions just turn into
That's pretty good. We should do a whole podcast like that.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm a great Lego person.
Yeah.
I gotta be good at something. So yeah, like those I like them, but they do stress me out just because like I want to be able to like at least like half the collectibles be able to like.
But like none of the collectibles are even hard to get though,
They're not hard to get, but I can't get them until I get another character, and that's annoying. It stresses me out. I don't like it, so I don't find those comforting or cozy.
Okay, Shanae, you're right. You're right.
I am right.
Well,
I'm right.
I'm not feeling very cozy right now. I know that much.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what's like super cozy for me that I still play a lot of is Minesweeper. Yeah. I know like a lot of people when they think about video games, they don't think about those games, but like those are video games.
That's a video game.
And like dude, just throw on a fucking podcast, play some Minesweeper, drink a Red Bull, you're good to go,
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And by good to go, I mean that makes me very horny.
Obviously. If we're going for the cozy for like replaying games, like, god damn it, Tommy. sometimes I'll still like throwing batteries into that Game Boy Color back there and
Oh,
play
hell yeah.
blue Pokemon Blue, because I just find that like I've played it so many times
Yeah.
and
You
once
know
you
what
broke
to
it,
pick.
yeah, and also like and I know who to catch and like for like which gyms to make things
Well, you're
easiest.
supposed to catch all of them, Shanae. That's the.
I
That's the.
have never caught all of them.
Wow.
She
Ernie
don't have
has.
anybody to trade with.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I didn't have friends.
Sure. I can believe that.
Wasn't allowed
Yeah. I
by
can
my
believe
own
that.
personality.
Off topic, but like you guys kind of reminded me of it, Shanae. Anyways, my mom once told my sister, actually pretty recently, that as a child she was not allowed to dream.
Not allowed to dream, like not allowed to
Yeah.
not allowed to aspire, or not allowed to like have like dreams as she sleeps.
Yeah, not allowed to like have any sort of ambitions for her future.
Huh.
Okay, I thought it was like as she sleeps, and I was like, how
Yeah.
is she gonna monitor that?
Your mom
Yeah.
said this.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah.
Lot to unpack there.
I quite regularly tell people it's good to want things. Apparently your mom does not agree.
Yeah.
That's real bleak.
That's funny.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm trying. What about how is this for cozy, Shanae? Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Okay.
There you go.
Like, look, yes, there's some skill involved there, but like for the most part, I'm playing that game. I'm not really thinking about anything,
Yeah.
It's cozy for you.
Collect the letters, do the tricks, ollie over the homeless people. You're done.
Yep.
Ignore social problems.
Yeah. Well, it was the 90s, you see.
Yeah. Like we didn't care about that back
It was
then.
a different time.
Yeah. Yeah. The put on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 with like load up the school level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good for about 3 hours, man.
I will say though that like sometimes I'll just put on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 soundtrack. It was pretty good. It's very nostalgic.
What is your favorite song on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3? Was it 3?
Mm-hmm.
Soundtrack.
I'm just gonna be fucking basic. It's Blitzkrieg Bop.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, look, that's okay. It's okay that that's your favorite song on the soundtrack. There's no rule
What's your
against
favorite
that.
song?
Of the songs that I can remember, it's probably that Alien Ant Farm song.
Wasn't Jurassic 5 on that one?
No, that was
4.
That was 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't know. I get stressed out about a lot of games. Like I was playing I tried to play this week why am I blanking on the name? Star Wars Jedi.
Fallen Order?
Yeah. And so I was trying to play that. I wasn't the first part is just all platforming.
Yeah.
And
that's not Shanae's
I'm
forte.
not good at that.
Yeah. I'll play.
Yeah, but it's sort of like Uncharted auto platforming,
Well,
I'm still not good at it.
Yeah, you don't need that detail. You don't need that detail
is.
Okay, so but what about this? Okay. Well, when we were at your house and you're playing Fire Emblem, the Musou one, whatever it's called, to me, that game looks like it's fucking nuts. Right? But to you, you're just playing the game, and you were succeeding, but you're like talking with us, chilling out,
Yeah. Yeah. So.
But like clearly that game takes some skill, but like you were chill.
That's a Shanae game for sure. Obviously.
Not cozy.
There's no platforming.
Not cozy though.
I necessarily wouldn't say so because that's just like I like the game and I have fun with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's cozy or comforting. Like it's just more of like a fun thing to do. Like it's not what I want to do when I want to decompress or like relax my mind. And yeah, like I at that point I was playing a lot of it, so I was quite good at it.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
but yeah, I mean, like it's and I'll
what is the
I like the universe,
what is the
but
coziest game that you can think of that you enjoy right now?
right now,
Well, like what the coziest game that you can think of that you enjoy?
Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
Okay. What is it about that game that makes you feel all cozy and nice?
Um, just like the neighbors are like happy to see you. You're just going around cleaning up your little island.
Sure.
You're getting taken advantage of by this like raccoon that's like really into capitalism. Like
Sure.
it's
He is.
just it's just
But
it's very
he
comforting.
offers zero interest home loans. You kind of can't beat that, you know?
Exactly. That is like a really good thing.
And he
But
doesn't even have like due dates on the mortgage payments. You just pay them whenever you feel like it, you know?
do you wish you were
Man,
rich
that'd be
like
so
us?
rad.
Ah, same.
I'm just saying, it's a pretty
But
sweet deal.
I
but yeah,
guess it
like
is pretty cozy.
I really like the amount of like neighbors you can have in it, like islanders. I really like that there's so many different personalities and that they actually have a mechanic where their personality type affects how they interact with each other.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that it's a mechanic that doesn't necessarily impede anything because it's not going to keep you from like gaining bells or being able to like grow certain trees or anything like that. But it's just like the small interactions that they constantly do without you will be different. The conversations might be different. So no matter which how many times I restart the game, it's going to be different every single time. And so it has that if I was tired of like what I was doing, like it has that ability to where if I restart, it's not like I have to like slog through the same shit that I've done like until I get to a point where things are different. And also like they I mean it's sad, but also it's good. They notice the passage of time and they notice like when you go to their birthdays and I don't know, it's just like it's really nice that they that it's so thoughtful in their characterization. Meanwhile, like they only are dialogue. They aren't voice acted by any like actual language. Um and yeah, and like also just the aesthetic is very cute. It's all like big
There
bubblegum
is a way the language works. I
round.
don't remember how, but there is a way. Like that language does work in a way. Like it is defined. It's not random.
Okay.
I know it's off topic, but like fuck,
But also
I can't
it's not a
remember
language
it now.
anybody actually speaks. It's not
Yes,
like it's
yes,
in
yes, right.
Russian and like I just don't know Russian.
Sure, sure, sure.
Both.
When that game came out, or whenever like new Animal Crossing started doing that little language thing, whenever that started happening, nobody was speaking that language. Now there's probably somebody on TikTok that does, but like
Well, no,
I'm not
this
it.
has existed since Animal Forest, like all Animal Crossings.
I'm
Well, yeah, that's
But
just Animal
like,
Crossing. It's not just Animal Crossing New Horizon.
yeah, it's something like one of their wives created it. Created it. I don't remember how it
now
works. It's really interesting though.
one of their white wives created it.
It's very interesting. It really is. I'll look it up.
Have you ever played a game called Cozy Grove?
Actually, I meant to bring that up earlier. So I tried it. I have it on the Switch. I
Hmm.
played about like an hour and a half of it,
Hmm.
and then something happened, and
Hmm.
I wasn't like super feeling it that first hour and a half. I've been meaning to
Hmm.
go back once I finish Spiritfarer,
Hmm.
like for good, which will be this playthrough. Hopefully, if I have no more bugs and don't need to delete or reinstall anything.
Yeah. Um, I would say probably try it one more time because I think that it is based on everything that you've told me about.
And the title.
Yeah. Based on everything that you told me about like what you appreciate about cozy games and like how those games work and like generally like what the overall vibe of those games is, I think that that's a game that you would definitely appreciate with a little bit more time put in.
uh,
Um,
Another one I liked was I think a suggestion from Tommy was Into the Woods,
Night in the Woods.
Night in the Woods. Oh,
Yeah.
because I had Into the Woods on my wish list.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I know Night in the Woods. I don't know what Into the Woods is.
yeah, I well, the only Into the Woods I know is a post-apocalyptic movie starring Elliot Page that takes a very dark turn halfway through.
Oh, I watched that movie. That movie sucked. Yeah, Night in the Woods though is totally cozy.
Yeah.
Like, and even with like,
so what kind of
there's a lot of gross stuff that happens in that game.
what kind of game is it actually though? Like what like genre would it fall into?
It's kind of hard to put it into like a specific genre because like there's all sorts of mini games. There's like a dungeon crawling part. There's a rhythm game part. There's some light platforming, but like
Follow-up question.
you're just going what?
Follow-up question: is there a defined end to that game?
Yes.
Okay.
Spiritfarer has a defined end. You Spiritfarer yourself.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'd still say the Night in the Woods is a cozy game.
I think so too.
And
And you know what? Like it is one of very few games I find that like feels like its premise, right? Like it's about going home after dropping out of college and meeting back up with your old friends and everybody talking about your failures. And it feels like that, you know? But like in the best way possible. Like you go and you get drunk at a party and make a fool out of yourself in front of one of your exes and like, you know, we've all been too drunk somewhere.
Yeah.
And like it feels that way.
It's relatable.
It's great, you know? Yeah.
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 I also say like Subsurface Circular you could say is a cozy game too. Because there's not like really gameplay to that.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, I mean the most puzzling thing is knowing which routes to take, and even that's not very difficult.
Yeah. I feel like it has like perhaps a darker tone than your typical cozy game, but I definitely feel like it fits the bill as far as like what it feels like to play the game.
You're ferrying the dead to the morgue.
Yeah, but like at the same I mean here's the thing about Spiritfarer is that like everything like the moment to moment gameplay of that game is like not very bleak at all. And like there's a purpose about for you being on the boat and everything, but like your moment to moment interactions with like the people that you're ferrying.
Bird, who's like obviously has dementia, is quite sad. Every time I talk to her, I was like, "Oh, Alex, remember something."
You don't want to say that to someone with dementia because that's not how you treat them. That's not how you treat dementia. I think that if like the cure was just like telling them to remember something, I think.
Well, what if everyone's been too polite to say it?
I guess that's the problem. I suppose that's the problem. But
no, I actually really want to play Night in the Woods again. I never
should do it. There's no law against it. You can go back to it.
Well, part of the reason I've been playing like Stray and Spiritfarer is because like what's Hogwarts Legacy releases, I'm going to be on the hunt for a used copy.
You're going to be on the hog.
I mean, that's like what? Any day now, right?
On the 10th.
Yeah.
I bet you'll find one within a month.
Like, yeah, because my birthday just passed, so I was thinking about maybe buying myself like a game for it, and like finally get Pokemon's Violet like I've been thinking. Then I'm like,
oh, happy birthday, Shanae!
Yeah, happy birthday, Shanae.
Oh, thanks, guys.
What about Fire Emblem Engage? I thought you'd be all over that shit.
Yeah.
I was a little burnt out because I actually didn't finish my third playthrough of Fire Emblem 3.
I was a little burnt out because I only played the last one 12 times, you know?
Yeah. Well, I played the first one 5 or 6 times, and then I played the second one. I played Three Hopes 2 2/3 times. And I'm just a little burnt out.
Couldn't imagine why you'd be burnt out.
There's no one who gets more for their money from a game than Shanae.
Yeah, Shanae squeezes every drop out of that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I as a kid, if I liked a game, it was going to be the only game I liked for a very long time because I wasn't going to get a new one that I liked.
I mean, I could say the same thing, but still.
And I never grew out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad still really only plays StarCraft and Diablo.
He's still squeezing.
Yeah, he's still squeezing. He's probably badass at both of those
Say that.
games.
Don't say that about my dad.
Your
What?
dad's
No.
still squeezing real hard.
Yeah, he's just
Ah,
squeezing. He's squeezing out. He's squeezing out the last
like
drops.
any of this.
I don't understand what the
Yeah.
problem is, Tom. You know,
Yeah.
you want a dad who can squeeze. You know.
You know,
Sure.
You know. As a father myself, I can speak to that.
I mean, no, I'm not. I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done.
Okay. I understand.
Your mother. I'm done.
What?
You know, like you like a lot of the games you're talking about. Like several of them are like Annapurna games, you know, and like
Yeah, they're good at it.
there's certainly that's certainly the type of game that they typically go for, right? And I think about games like Sayonara Wild Hearts, which like definitely has the same vibes as a lot of those games, but like that's not like chill, relaxing gameplay, you know?
No, it's very stressful for me.
Yeah.
I played it on iPhone and Apple TV, and both times I was just like, uh, uh, like as I like
Yeah.
went through trying to like do it all right. And like whenever it would change perspective, I'm just like, ugh, I just got good on this one. I can't change it now. I'll be bad again.
Well, don't play Near Automata.
I have. I wasn't good at it. But I did
You,
enjoy my time with it.
you can get good at it though.
I could.
I mean, all you got to do is press the buttons in the right way.
Mm,
That's all there is to it.
See, I was pressing them the wrong way. I didn't even think about doing it the right way.
Clearly. You want to press them in the way that is the most efficient as far as killing enemies, while also keeping your life bar above 0.
What if it's should I do it the way that the game intends me to or any way that I
Absolutely.
feel like it?
Probably the former or the latter. So,
Wise man.
thank you. I'm selling a book. So that's one of the tips in there. Anyway.
But what would you say is since I was asked, what would you right now, Ryan, what would you say is the coziest game you can think of? For you.
For you.
For you. Golly. I guess it would probably be I think it would probably be a tie between No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy 14, and Spiritfarer, honestly.
You guys love the Spiritfarer, huh? Maybe I should check this out.
Yeah, it'll give you it'll I don't know about Tom because I typically
he liked Florence. He liked Florence, and he's liked other he liked Night in the Woods. Like he's liked other cozy games. I think you like it.
No, what I'm saying, I was stopping myself from saying that it would give you feels, but I know that the things that give me feels typically don't give Tom feels. Is what I was. So I stopped myself.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
But I hadn't even really heard of it. But my friend Sean, when we were playing Stray, and I was looking at all the other like PS Plus games, he was telling me that a lot of his friends had played it, and it's not like really a game that they normally do, and highly recommended it. So I just downloaded it, and I said it's fantastic. It does have some bugs on every console, so hope you don't run into those.
I hope you do.
Sure.
I feel like because there's like one with the PS5 where you'll just constantly be in the jumping animation, and so you can't action anything.
So
which is super fun.
Yeah.
But what about you, Thomas? What would you say is the coziest game for you, or that comes to your mind right now?
Like of all time?
For you.
For you. I don't know. I guess I go with my first answer. Like probably like Grim Fandango, or one of those really, like Sam and Max, like those are just super chill. Uh, it's got to be one of those. I don't know. Point and click adventures in general.
Was there?
Although I guess they do like, if it's your first time playing one and you're not using a guide or anything like that, it might really piss you off. So I don't. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
I used to fight against the idea of using guides, but like,
I think for that kind
Oh.
of game, yeah,
but like,
absolutely.
but I'm
Yeah.
at the point now where like I will just readily use them. Like I don't give a shit.
Ah.
Like I went through Persona 5 Royal like front to back with the guide because I wanted.
Yeah, I just feel like for point and clicks, it kind of defeats the like. There's no
Sure.
game then, you know.
Yeah, but like you might just be there for the narrative, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's like similar with like Atomi games, but I normally will like complete like a good section and then like saving along the way if they don't have, or I save before every choice, and if it's a game that has a like some sort of animation to show if it's a good choice or a bad choice. If it doesn't, then I'll normally do a couple of those and then I'll go look at a guide and see which one worked like that because I don't have time.
Yeah.
I know I replay a lot of games,
sure.
but there's so
Well,
many
you would play one
dialogue
game.
options. There's so many dialogue options with the Tomy games that if
Mhm.
I don't know which one I did wrong to get like to a good ending, I'm not gonna do all like 67 choices again.
Sure. Sure. I'm just saying, like with a point and click, I'm not saying you shouldn't use a guide, right? Use a guide, but like at least attempt the solution on your own. You know?
Yeah.
Or do whatever you want.
No.
Tommy's not
No,
your
don't do that. You're wrong. I am your boss.
Sure. Shanae, can you save scum and Atomies?
Some of them, right?
So what do you mean by like save scum?
It's like basically where you have like where you just save over and over and over again, and
Oh
just
yeah,
like
that's how you're supposed to play them.
and just
Essentially.
like when you don't like what happened, you go back to the save and you do it again.
That's basic like that's basically the gameplay.
Hmm,
Because like
interesting.
That's the game.
because it's just choices. So like there's no like skill or action like with it. You just if you are narratively wanting like you really like this character and you're wanting to see like the good ending for them, because a lot of times the bad endings end up with you or them dying for most games. Like
Sure.
it's like,
There's got
oh,
to
we're
be
going to the
some
beach,
skill.
and you chose like
There's
I
some
want the
skill.
and you want the like I wrong kind of sandwich, and then all of a sudden like you die by a shark attack. Like it's like, well, fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
Shanae, what's the most horrible death you've seen in an Otomi?
Mm. Hmm. So, I mean, it's really hard to say without like giving more backstory, but essentially, like your love interest, your love interest gets like unmade by like, a god
Mm-hmm.
to like to a point where it's like their existence doesn't actually like happen anymore, and so like nobody else remembers them but you, and so you end up like so the game like so like the final ending of it is like you're just killing yourself.
Hmm.
Wait, they get unmade. So like, do they
Yeah,
start like disappearing like Marty McFly's
not like
family
not
in that
it wasn't
photograph?
it wasn't the snap. No, it's like so for this one it was like a pool, like a spring pool, like a hot spring pool. So and with it goes in is just like this I don't know, this goddess of like or this god of like darkness essentially, like of just like the dead, of like nothingness. And so like it's their like spring and then there's like another hot spring of like life and people are after that one or whatever. And so like
What's the one of life do? Does it make babies?
no, it like can you like cure any disease, like
Oh,
keep you
okay.
like
Like a
immortal and
Lazarus
stuff.
pit, like Lazarus pit
No,
situation.
no, like a
But
fountain of youth sort of thing, right?
Hmm.
yeah, well kind of
Yeah.
like that, but also like in that universe can also like change your status in like society.
Right.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because it's like a class society
Yeah.
based off of like different attributes of the person. So it'll like change your attributes, like physical attributes. So people will be like, okay, so you're part of this like caste system now.
Sure.
Yeah, but so yeah, opposite of that is like essentially that. So I don't know. I'd say like that is
Okay.
probably like the worst, like one of the worst ones, because it's because it was like a whole like I had to make decisions like after they had died. I was like, what the fuck is still going on? Why am I still like?
Yeah, why do you
Because
care?
normally
They're
if it's like
dead.
game, because normally if it's game over, if like your love interest dies, it's just
Mhm.
like, oh, and now you'll never be happy. In
Yeah.
game.
Sure. All right. That's all. I was just curious.
I feel like that's a worse ending than like you have died. You know.
Sure.
Now you'll never be happy.
Yeah, just kill him.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that they just kill themselves like off screen. But this game, it showed you it.
You shouldn't assume that about people, should I?
Even if they are fictional digital characters
Yep.
with like a history of it.
A history of killing themselves?
Yes. Because they're fictional characters, you see. They can do that.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Shanae.
We just talked about Spirit Fair, where you're taking spirits from one like limbo death area to the
Right.
next death area. Come on.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's a little bit.
Wile E. Coyote like kills himself every
Oversimplification
fucking
of it, but-
episode. You know. Sometimes multiple times in the same
Yeah, I was
episode.
like,
He doesn't die. He gets flattened out.
Wow.
You're saying he gets blown up by dynamite and he's not
Yeah,
dying?
he turns to a pile of ashes with eyeballs on it.
Yeah, and
You
then
think he's still alive?
Yes, because the eyeballs are still blinking. I think the only cartoon character I've ever seen actually like unalive himself was Daffy Duck.
Kenny McCormick.
Well, yeah. Well, I always felt like other things were killing him, not him killing himself.
But sometimes he kills himself.
Yeah.
Like on purpose, or is it always an accident?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes on purpose, sometimes on accident. Both.
Okay.
That's a character I can like then.
Anyway.
Was there anything else that y'all wanted to add?
Was the coyote the asshole or was the roadrunner the asshole?
So here's how I think about it. I think that like we look at animals in nature, right? And we know that there's predators and that there's prey. Do we think that a lion is an asshole for killing a gazelle? No, because that's what lions do. They kill the gazelles and they eat them.
Not using dynamite.
So he's an asshole because he knows how to use tools. Is that the metric?
He's also making fake roadways to trick other people. Weirdly, though, the gods see it and they're like, no. For a human, this is going to be an actual drivable tunnel. And also, I'm going to let this roadrunner through.
Look, I think so. It's very clear that the sole aspect of this coyote's diet is roadrunner, and roadrunners are impossibly fast. He never gets
them, so like he has to be eating something else.
Not a lot of meat on them either, you know.
Use what?
Not a lot of meat on a roadrunner.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess like he doesn't see. That's the thing, is he doesn't need to eat a lot, but when he does need to eat, he needs to get the roadrunner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he's an asshole for trying to feed himself. You know.
That's true.
Just because he has
access. You go about it. It's the way you go about it.
So he's supposed to just like not use tools and just rely on his natural physicality to catch this roadrunner and eat it. It's never gonna work. He's gonna starve to death. So you got to sneak up on roadrunners, and you got to. That's. Well,
I think like for Shanae's argument is it's like those people that go fishing with guns. Sure. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for succinctly putting in my feelings about this.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that like I think that those people could catch the fish without the guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So could the
roadrunner. The coyote clearly cannot.
Cardio instead of buying dynamite.
So I don't think there's no amount of cardio that he can do to run as fast as a roadrunner. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Shanae, if you ran a little faster, you could just go tackle that deer. Like, no, it's not going to happen. You know,
they're just naturally faster than you. They will always be faster than you. So you have to use the advantages that are afforded to you in order to accomplish your goal. Look, just because
he knows any assortment of products from Acme.
Yeah, He's got the whole catalog. So I mean, why? So he should just not use it then. That's ridiculous.
That's
You're right.
my
I'm
last
ridiculous.
Yeah. I just feel like
if you're listening, let us know who you think the asshole is.
Settle the debate. But also,
go
I
on,
still
Shanae.
disagree.
Of course you do.
Fine then.
I guess neither one of them is an asshole.
I just don't think why does there have to be an asshole at all?
Right?
Yeah, the bird's trying to live.
As if there's one or the other.
You could have said neither.
That wasn't one of the options afforded to me.
Sounds like you're in a coyote situation.
I'm a Tom and Jerry situation right now.
I mean, those guys. Okay, so the coyote and the roadrunner, neither is an asshole, right? Tom and Jerry are both assholes.
They are both assholes. Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't. I feel like there could be argument about the coyote and the roadrunner, but for sure, Tom and Jerry are both assholes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like we learned something today, you know?
I feel like if the coyote is an asshole for trying to eat the roadrunner, then I'm definitely an asshole for eating fried chicken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you using an anvil and dynamite to catch these chickens?
No, but
I would.
But like the argument is that like if we're using like man-made contraptions and inventions to do it, then yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So.
You ever like wonder why he didn't go after like a different roadrunner?
You see that desert, there's never anything out there.
Yeah.
Besides that one roadrunner, but that can't be true because like what's that roadrunner out there doing? Eating all the fake trap bait?
The complimentary birdseed from the fucking coyote.
It's real birdseed that he's giving him.
Yeah.
So do you see anybody else feeding the roadrunner? Do you see
why didn't he just drug the birdseed?
Like, he's not that smart. He's clearly not a smart coyote.
Why doesn't Acme have that? Why doesn't Acme have a
poison?
Yeah, poison.
I'm sure they do. They must.
Yeah.
You know.
So he might have tried to do the poison, and the roadrunner's metabolism is such that it immediately breaks it down into its inert form, and it doesn't affect him.
Well, in that case, he'd be eating all the time, but he's not. Anyways, so that's our show for the week, guys. You can find us on most podcast apps.
He eats the birdseed every time he puts it down. He's never full.
Our Discord to let us know what you feel about the situation, or if you disagree about Tom and Jerry being an asshole, you can tell us about it. We want to.
Oh, I love them both, but they are assholes.
Yeah, no, I was like, you can tell us about why you think they're not assholes, but we want to agree with you. And bye, guys.
Bye.